Story.
Ho, ho, ho! Santa may be in the North Pole, but we are back with the 20th episode of the Brave Frontiers Unit Analysis. Welcome, everyone. My name is Trailox. With us tonight are casters Lance, Nova, and Storm.
Hey
How are your
guys.
holidays coming along, guys?
Pretty good.
Swordfish.
Yeah, pretty good.
All right, well, the agenda tonight Agni Batch, Christmas units, Cerise rankings. We'll talk a little bit about Thunder and Winter Vortex Dungeon. And we'll be giving away three $20 Amazon gift codes during the stream. Ranking the units is done on the 1 to 5 scale, 5 being the best, which is then recorded on the bottom left of your screen. As we rank the units, we would like you to participate as well. To vote, go to www.bfpioneers.com. Tonight, your vote will count as 25% of the overall vote. So, Lance, start off with you. Give us your opinion on the Thunder and Winter Vortex dungeons.
Finally it happened. Like we weren't sure it was gonna happen, but it happened. So, let's talk about the Thunder Vortex yet. But I think a lot of the people they just did the Vortex just to get the Cerise unit. But I guess we got out of the way, so we don't have to worry about any more Thunder Vortex. I believe nothing in there was worth of value. The only unit, the only thing that people wanted was Reese, and it wasn't because she was a good unit. People just wanted her for collection because she was like a unit that you can only get right now and might be harder to get later on in the future. And the I feel really disappointed about the Christmas Vortex. I feel like Gumi could have done it a lot better. Give us better units or better events with better spheres. Like I mean, the Halloween spheres were nice, but these spheres, it seems like they're more for beginners. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
All right. And Nova. Thunder Vortex, it came and gone. People aimed for Cerise. They got her. What was your opinion on those dungeons?
Yeah, so for the Thunder Vortex Arena, I was actually awake like when it just started, so I noticed there were a lot of connection errors on that, and it was actually pretty difficult for a lot of people to use their orbs for a lot of the event. And for the most part, it was something that everybody could do, as long as you had at least one Thunder unit, you could try to win an arena, that would work. So for the people who did have actual teams, it was kind of just an event for the people who kind of play more often, because they do regen pretty fast. Like 20 minutes is goes by in like an instant, and by the time you ask yourself, "Oh, do I have Thunder Vortex orbs?" You probably do. So it basically got down to for Vortex is whoever had a decent team, you could win a lot. And then as long as you got to 15K, you pretty much were done with the event. And how Christmas Vortex went was they made it more challenging than it should have been, if you ask me, because the rewards, you need to farm a lot for them. And in my opinion, it was actually pretty difficult for a lot of newer players also to even farm the later stages, which is more valuable because you could get imps of all things from level 4, which was something that I was actually, pleasantly surprised about. But other than that, like Lance said, they needed to make it a little bit more appealing because it is on half energy, which means they're trying to push this event out, but it's not really worth all your energy to put into it. I'd rather save it for doing metal parades and jewel parades, unless you're done with that, in which case, yeah, you're probably going to be farming level 4 for the entirety of time it's open.
Yeah, definitely agree with Nova. I see a lot of people with 15,000 points. Like they get to 50,000 points and they stop. So yeah, I agree. Definitely agree with Nova.
And that's what I did. Storm, you here?
All right, my
All right.
turn. I started playing like right after the Thunder Vortex Arena was first brought out, and shut down within 4 hours. And so the entire time I'm playing, all I've been hearing about is Thunder Vortex this or Thunder Vortex that, or Facebook events like, hey, when are we at Thunder Vortex? And we finally got it, and it was exciting. And I gotta tell you, it was like a blast back to the past. I have not hit okay that many times since the last time we did Super Honor Summons. Let me just put that out there. It was like playing OK Frontier all over again. Now, that being said, when it did finally work, my rank did not go up at all, and so there was quite a bit of errors still, but we finally got it done. We finally got it out there. They increased the amount of time that they did it for about a day or two. I think was it 1 day or 2 days?
It was a 1 day extension.
It was a 1 day extension. I definitely did not do it as much as I should have. I slept through most of Thunder Vortex Arena, but I still managed to get my series. So I think that's really the only reason I played was series. So yeah, it was fun. I can't wait to do it again. Press OK a whole bunch of times. See what other great units we'll get. As far as the new Vortex event is going, I am the proud owner of a maxed out BB level 10 Frosty, and you know what? That just like I've got my Anima Pumbirkin, I've got my Anima Frosty. It's great. I love those units. It's the best part of the Vortex for me.
What does BB10 do?
Nothing. I don't know.
It
it's
doesn't
just,
do anything?
I don't know.
Sounds...
It does something. I haven't looked that far into it. Really, it just sits there
It
in my
probably
box.
increases damage of whatever
I
damage.
like to look at it right before I go to sleep. First, I looked at Pumbirkini, and then I'll look at Frosty, and I'll have great dreams that night just looking at those two Anima maxed out slimes.
Oh,
So that's a little weird.
New slime family.
secret revealed.
So with holding in accordance to how Gumi does things, I was really expecting the first couple of dungeons for this new Vortex to be, oh yeah, it's a cakewalk. I can auto through it. And then I died to a Frosty who was doing like 13 damage a hit, but he had paralyzed my entire team. So I was like, yeah, this is fun. So I slowly watched this auto battle. My entire team was wrecked by a slime because I didn't have a defense ignore, and I was like, oh great, it's Trial of the Gods all over again. This is so much fun. So quick swap out. I bring my Ciara. That one's done. And so now I'm going to go in and I'm trying the last level, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring in Rogans. We're going to one shot this. We're gonna get these spheres because it's Gumi. These spheres are probably going to evolve into some other sphere later on down the road. It'll be fine. And then I died again. I went all out. I got him to like 30% of his HP, and then he hit me so hard that I did not get up. So that was fun.
Which unit are you talking about? Which unit hit?
Hrungnir?
Hrungnir.
Oh, okay.
Hrungnir. The second cousin of Thor or Loki, whichever one. I mean Zeus. That's what I meant. So that was a fun little dungeon. Didn't realize you had to mitigate. I had double Rogans. One's a breaker, one's a lord, and I still didn't manage to one-shot him. So I mitigated. I've been farming it ever since. One of the things you guys might want to keep in mind on is hold on to a bunch of these materials. Don't use it all for just the spheres. They have said, hold on to some of these materials that they're going to have something to do with them later. So even if you're not interested in the spheres, make a couple just in case, because you don't want to be at that point where the next vortex comes out in a few days, and you're like, well, I can't make this sphere because I don't have these materials, and that's just so much fun. Mm-hmm. Oh, also imps. Imps are a thing there. Was kind of surprised to get one.
And before we get started, well, actually, let's go on. Yeah, let's continue. Now, you guys did discuss a little about the dungeon, and what about the Trident and Hydroloid dungeon that came out a while back? What do you guys think of that?
I remember there were burst frogs there.
There were burst frogs there. But I guess, what did you think about like the individual units?
Let's see. With the Hydroloid, I really thought he looked like Cyber Inch Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! And from like the actual Vortex itself, I just went in with Mono Thunder Team, and it kind of is really easy when you have double Rogans just sniping everything in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
remember I auto battled through Hydroloid and just captured it. I'm like, okay. So let's move on to the rankings. Tonight we are covering 12 units, some of which have been released 1 to 2 weeks ago. There are some global exclusives here, and we are going to start with Trident. Now, Trident, as you may know, is pretty much like the godfather of all the water units now. Um, Trident could be like the opposite or the same as Ultor, depending on how you see it. Lance, what do you think about Trident?
I think Trident is probably, in my opinion, like the strongest unit in the entire game right now. There's very, very few units that I actually max up imps, and Max was the first one I maxed up imps, and Trident is my second one. Trident, he just makes everything seems like trivial. Like you can auto battle everything. You don't have to count turns. You don't have to really worry about damage mitigation. Trident is just he's just so strong. Like a lot of people, including me, were worried about Cardus, but with Trident, like I'm so confident that I'll probably do Cardus like the first day, and I will probably beat him like within the first attempt. That's how strong Trident is right now, especially if you use double Trident. But the thing is, the reason why Trident is so strong is because he brings so much utility. Like it's not just, if 30% by itself, 30% HP by itself, it's pretty strong already. But if you combine, like when you start combining that with recovery, when you start combining that with damage reduction, he just becomes like so strong. Like you give him like a BC Crystal Plus, but the thing is, you put up like a shield on top of that too. He just becomes like so strong. So Trident, I think he's probably the strongest unit in the game, and he's gonna make everything that we're gonna get in the near future like really really easy. So yeah, that's how I feel about Trident, and he's like the easy 5 star. My Trident, he's an anima type with double spheres and max out imps. He's like closing around 15,000 HP with double Trident. So that's how strong this character is. So yeah, easy 5 star anima type.
All right. Storm, the next question is for you. Trident casts an Earth Shield. Does the element really matter?
Yes, it does. Fire will deal double damage to the Earth Shield, and Thunder will deal reduced damage to it.
Okay. And go ahead and rank the unit.
All right. Oh, me? Me?
Yeah.
All right. Tridon is so a little backstory. LM produces the game, and they're like, "Hey, this is how it's going to work. These are the mechanics." Gooby one day said, "Hey, I'm going to break your game with a single unit," and now we have Tridon. I don't know if you guys have ever watched infomercials where they try to sell you something. That's what Tridon is. He is the product of an infomercial. It's one of those things where, hey, you buy this unit, we'll throw in this leadership skill, and if you buy in the next 15 minutes, we'll do you a 30% boost to HP, 50% boost to recovery, mitigate 10% damage, and a 15% boost to critical hit chance. That's 4 different things in a single leadership skill. Most leadership skills are like, oh, well, you'll have 30% boost to HP and occasionally you'll recover some HP. This guy has all of it, a bag of chips, and one of the best Brave Bursts or Super Brave Bursts I've ever seen. It's not even his damage. His stats, I don't care about them. He could have like terrible stats and it doesn't even matter. With the Super Brave Burst, doing that 18 combo hit, yeah, nobody cares. It could do 2 hits, we still wouldn't care. What we care about is the fact that it's casting a strong Earth Shield on allies that lasts for 2 turns. And what we're seeing is it's got about 2,600 HP with 1,000 defense, and it's got the Earth element. But he also increases BC drop rate for 2 turns. I don't think there's a unit in this game that has as much value as Trident does. So unfortunately, the max rating we can give a unit is 5. And so I'm definitely going to give 5 to Trident. As far as typing, I want to say A for anything. I don't care what typing you get this Trident as, just get him. Anima, Oracle, Breaker, Lord, Guardian, doesn't matter. He is amazing.
All right, Nova. I guess, what is your opinion on these global exclusives, this topic in general? Because we had Ultor, and now they're bringing us Trident.
Okay. So I guess for me, how it all started out was, I guess we gotta talk about Ultor a bit if we're talking about global exclusives. So the first time you see this unit, it's just like, a unit that gives taunt, and everybody is just looking at it and it's like, oh, cool, unit that can soak hits, for the first time ever. That's just single target, so that was fine. And then like a couple of days later, we got the 6-star form, and then people were kind of like scratching their heads and trying to look at what they saw, because they saw defensive unit with an insane attack, like 2700, and then they saw that he gives a huge attack buff to your entire team, and then his ridiculous leader skill, 50% attack defense, the crit and the elemental weakness damage, and people were like, "Oh, this is too good to be true. Everybody has to get one." Ultor broke the game. You saw it as leader. People swapped out their Maxwells for it, and it pretty much like you can just like go into quests, go into whatever, bring an Ultor, and you'll be fine. Um, never have to worry about those dragon mimics again. And then the second wave comes out, and you look at Trident. I looked at Trident first, and I was like looking at him. This was like release day, and I was like, this doesn't really look that cool. He gives an HP buff, and then his 6-star comes out, and then everybody has to get him because, like everybody else said, it's like these leader skills are over the top, and it's like, why would I bring anything else when I can get something with 4? And everybody knows more is merrier. And then now, just looking at his BB and his SBB, a lot of people were like, when will we ever get like an HP buff? And the HP buff just like never existed for the longest time. And now we have an HP buff in a sense, in the form of a separate shield, which is like a different HP bar, which is kind of crazy because now you have to chew through that first, then you start hitting your regular HP bar, which just provides so much utility, so much survivability. And on the flip side of Ultor, basically, I think is Trident, because you have a more, in a sense, team defensive unit, whereas I think Ultor is like, I'll soak the damage, everybody else will kill the enemy. So it's like really balanced out, but it kind of just like completely breaks down, the sort of team synergy that you're like used to building. It's like you just get like an Ultor, or you just get a Trident, and now you're kind of like okay with whatever else you bring, because as long as you have that kind of leader skill and that BB, for the most part, you'll probably do okay through a lot of things. And that being said, this unit obviously has to get a 5, and typing is G for godlike and guardian.
I just want to add
concur.
something to Trident. I forgot to say this, but Trident is the reason why I started switching my team to Breaker. Like, if it wasn't for Trident, most of my units would probably be Anima. But ever since Trident came out, I gained enough confidence to actually put Breakers into my team, because I'm actually really confident that no units will be able to one-shot my Breaker units. So that's how strong Trident is. And I'm a big fan of Dual HJX, but with Trident out now, his leader skill gives you extra crit for his leader skill. So like, I'm really insistent on Dual HJX because I want the max 70% cap crit chance. And with Trident, you can bring in like a lot of units now. Even Maxwell's basic crit buff, even like any other units that give you a crit buff, like with Trident as leader, he will actually bring you like to the 70% crit chance cap, or really close to it. So yeah, I just want to add that.
And on our website, we had Kula as the #1 water unit in December. Now that Trident has come out, he takes the #1 place as the top tier water unit. So it is
agree.
definitely a unit to be desired for, and if you have one, great. Now, viewers were voting, I hope.
I hope.
We're voting, and then we said it, and then people stopped voting. So, yeah, but I think it's closer now to 5 stars, because before a lot more people were voting for 3 stars. I guess they were trolling because of how strong he is. But yeah, 5-star with 6 votes.
Is JD in the call right now?
Yeah, JD's,
Yes.
Yeah.
I think JD's in the call
Yes.
right now.
I'm just trying to drive by and say hi while I'm looking for parking at work.
Oh, okay. And JD also said on
Awkward.
Skype that she would have given Trident a what?
5.
A 5 as well.
Okay.
I love my Trident.
I
You
thought it
guys
was
can
silent.
beat Maxwell like no tomorrow.
What
you-
type is your trident, JD?
Mine is actually I think it's a lord. I didn't even care what type he was because using him just as from a friend, he was already diesel enough as it was, and I was like, oh my god, I had to get this unit. I had to, just had to.
Gotcha.
I didn't care if I got an oracle for all I cared.
Okay, so what do you think of this? Like, if I have an Ultor and a Trident, who has the better leader skill, and do I stick them both into a squad when I'm facing an enemy?
No.
Now,
No.
this is a good question because you kind of get like a overlap on offense versus defense because with Ultor you get more offensive capabilities in a sense, and with a Trident you get more defensive capabilities. So it really depends like what kind of style you want to go towards because I've done both double Ultor and double Trident, and I have Sphere Frogs on them both. And for the most part, right now, you can pretty much choose whatever combination of the two, and you'll do okay on like anything, because the extra stats overall, not to mention the utility they both bring to your team, just kind of makes the functionality of your team as a whole work a lot better because you're so used to worrying about like what if X happens or what if Y happens or what if I don't crit or what if I don't have enough mitigation, what if I get singled out, and then it kind of just like removes a lot of that worry from your team, and it really doesn't matter what you bring right now, but there's definitely subtle differences when it comes to bringing like a double Ultor versus a double Trident.
What about one Ultor, one Trident?
I think having one of each is fine as well because you get like we keep talking about their leader skills, and the only thing they overlap on is crit bonus, which is I think is fine. Extra 30% crit, which means you don't have to bring like like an SGX anymore. You can bring a Maxwell, and you'll get 70% crit just with those two leads anyway. So
That was like laughing.
then you'd have like this spread of okay, you have 30% HP, you have 50% attack and defense, and 50% recovery. That's basically like double Gra right there. And then on top of that, you have 10% mitigation, and then you get the 80 or whatever percent elemental damage bonus. So they actually work pretty well in conjunction with each other, if you ask me.
All right, sounds good. I don't have an Ultor yet, but I hope it gets released again. All right, so the next unit is the fodder unit Hydroloid, which is the unit you need to evolve your Trident. So, Storm, let's start with you. What do you think of Hydroloid as a free-to-play unit?
I think we should all start calling him Cyber Dragon. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. Whatever Gumi wants to call him, that's Turbo Hydroloid or whatever that is. Let's call him Cyber Dragon. That's what it is. That being said, we've been told that all units are going to get 6 stars. So eventually these guys are going to get 6 stars. Don't know how long it'll be. It'll probably be a year or so for now. So for the most part, they're kind of useless. But if you don't have a Tridon, go ahead and pick up a Hydroloid or a Cyclaw or whatever. Have 1 or 2 in those backups just in case. So that way, if you do a rare summon, the gate opens and you're like, oh, look, it's Hydroloid. It's Tridon. Now I can't evolve him because I don't have Hydroloid. Also, if you've got a Hydroloid, and let's say he's a Lord type, or not Hydroloid, Tridon. Let's say you've got like an Oracle Tridon. Now, again, any Tridon's better than not having Tridon. He's amazing. I would go ahead and pick up an extra Hydroloid. Let's say you do a rare summon, you get an Anima or a Breaker, or whatever your ideal typing is, and then you're like, oh man, I got it, but now I can't evolve it. So just pick up extras of these just in case. It's worth having them in your units, just in case they don't ever bring out this dungeon again. Now, that being said, if you guys are looking for a 5-star unit to put on your team, if you don't have the cost to support full 6 stars, or you don't have full 6 stars, this guy's actually really good. He's one of the few 5-star units who has this kind of leadership skill. It's a 15% boost to critical hit chance and a 25% increase in the HP of all units. Now, unlike Cyclaw, his stats are pretty trash. Like he's tops out at like 1600 attack, whereas Cyclaw had like 2000, 2100 attack as a 5-star, which is pretty amazing. So he's pretty meh as far as his stats go, but he's got that AoE Brave Burst. He's got a chance of inflicting injury and sickness, but his leadership skill is really where it's at. So I'd give him a solid 3 as far as 5-stars are concerned. He's not the best kind of 5-star, but as far as free to play units goes, he is amazing.
And your type preference?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm probably gonna go with Guardian on this one. I hate to say it, but his defense is so low, and I mean even though defense scales really badly, the HP amount he gains off of being anima isn't really there to recover it. So I'm gonna say either Lord or Guardian. We'll go with Lord. We'll go with Lord. Sorry.
All right, Lance, what's your take on Hydroloid?
I really see Hydrolay as a feeder unit. Like I like that he has an AoE attack. I like that his leader skill is useful, but I don't see him being part of my team. But I can definitely see like how he can be used for other people's team who are lower level or don't have access to a lot of units. So like for me, I think I would just capture him just to evolve my Trident and nothing more. So I can't give him like a high score. I'll probably give him a 2-star out of 5. And Hydroloid, for me, it's just like a feeder material, and he says for maybe a unit collection because he looks kind of like Cyber End Dragon, I guess. So 2 stars, and I would take an Anima or a Breaker type, but I'll probably lean more towards Anima so I can complete my collection of having all Anima. Yeah, so
But you're switching
like
to Breaker, right? Because you have Trident.
yeah, Trident. Yeah, like Trident is so strong that I'm actually switching to most of my units to Breaker. If you look at most of my active team right now, a lot of them are Breaker type. So
All right.
yeah, so yeah, I just see him as a feeder unit, a unit that people use when they first start the game and they're not strong enough, or for them to get enough unit cost. So 2 stars. And probably collections of anima.
All right, Nova. I guess the question comes to you whether you were comparing Ultor and Trident. I'm gonna
Yes.
ask you to compare Hydroloid and Cyclaw.
Okay, so Cyclaw is really a unit that you can pretty much forget, whereas Hydroloid, you take a second look at, and you go like, okay, at least this unit looks like you use it. I've always been a fan of dragon type looking units and 3-headed dragon. There's plenty of those around, so why not throw in BF? So as far as Cyclops versus Hydroloid goes, I definitely pick Hydroloid over Cyclaw any day because like I can actually see myself using him, which is why I have a team of 5 maxed out, all different type Hydroloid. And his stats aren't like that bad because a lot of people, they look at stats and go like, they're okay. And then you throw on, like Leguan gems, and then they start to look like that. I posted the picture in chat, and when you look at it like that, it actually doesn't look that bad. So, because of his leader skill and his looks and even though his like stats are on the lower end, it's more important to have a decent BB and leader skill, if you ask me. So I'm gonna give him a 3 and Guardian typing.
All right,
Can
and
can I say something real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
The lack of content in global is so apparent that it has led Nova to maxing out 5 Hydroloids, which doesn't require just regular things. It also requires bulbs, and the chance of catching a bulb is so hard to do. So bravo
Yeah.
to you, Nova. Bravo.
At least they're not BB10 yet.
On that note, Lance, tell them about your experiences. What have you been doing in the downtime?
I've just been farming units that I had really bad luck with. Like for example, Mare was one of the units I caught a really bad typing. So I got a Lord typing my first time and wasn't happy with that. So I pretty much completed everything in the game, so there was nothing to do. So I went down to just trying to capture better types of hard to catch unit. And so I caught 3 mares, but it just wasn't any regular capture. It was actually, I caught 3 mirrors back to back to back. So I got a Guardian mirror, a Lore mirror, and a Breaker mirror back to back to back. So yeah, and I got a screenshot to prove that too. So
That is crazy. Seeing that I have no mare, but in my downtime, I've been farming Zergs. I farmed 10 Zergs, and I did a fusion material, like of all 5, or of all 10, into a single Zerg. Which is kind of interesting. All right, what did people vote for Hydroloid?
it's split right in the middle right now. So it's 5-star or 3-star, 8-8. So we need one more vote to break the tie.
All right, guys. It's time to break the tie. 3 or 5 for Hydroloid. I guess I was thinking about the other free-to-play units like Xena and Estia.
And Demo.
Yeah, if you compare Xenon and Estia to Hydroloid, Hydroloid is definitely a little bit better than them. So
I mean, apparently they're going to get 6-star forms as well. The Xenon Nestia batch.
They are, and I mean, but like I'm really confused because there's 4 stars, and there's 5 stars, there's 6 stars obviously, and then there's gonna be 7 stars. There's so many tiers. What are we going to be focused on later?
we finally broke the tie, and so we got one vote for 3 stars. So everyone thinks that Hydroloid deserves a 3-star.
All right.
It's that Cyber End Dragon hype, guys. That's what it is. The Yu-Gi-Oh hype is real.
You got 3 heads, so you gotta give a 3-star. It's true.
Well said, Nova.
Then we need to wait for the 5-headed dragon.
The next unit up is Cerise. Cerise is obtained from the Thunder Vortex after hitting the rank Worshipped. So, yes, we all did Thunder Dungeon. We all got to the end. And what happened? We got Cerise. And then what happened? It stayed in our inventory. Or did it? Nova, what happened to your Cerise?
My Cerise is maxed out because I can't Evo it. I was actually like going through the Bulb dungeon trying to find the Thunder one, and then I realized it wasn't out.
There's no Thunder one.
Yeah.
No,
So
there
I
is.
kept
There
doing
is.
I tried to do the light one and the other ones to see if they would drop. They never dropped, so I gave up that. And then I went back to my arena ranking, and then I realized that it hadn't moved at all, even though it was supposed to have moved. So like I'm still waiting for the Thunderbulb to evo her, but otherwise, yeah, she would have been maxed out by now. I reached worshipped, and then I was like, there's nothing else to do, and like I actually like my Thunder Vortex team, so I gave it another go, and I don't know where I ended up on that at all, because like the ranking system was just like so messed up that like it wouldn't update for anybody at all. So I kept looking at like the top 30, and it was like people were like ranked like 10,000 in there, and I was just like, what's going on? And I looked at Cerise, and as a unit, I went like, what's going on with this? Like it's a 5-star unit. It was designed the same way. Oh God, what was his name? Titan Wing Blaze. There we go. Was designed. So that was just to remind you guys, that was like 4 months ago. Like that kind of unit design was out, and they kept it, which means that a unit design from 4 months ago is completely useless. So I'm gonna give this a 2-star on Cerise. It's just like, she lost the wing, and she can get a Sparky to charge it back up. But other than that, like it's completely unusable. Unless you're running Mono Thunder, and nobody's gonna do that until 7 stars come back. And why would you run a Cerise then? Just run Ez. So you can only get like Lord typing, I believe, so I have to go with Lord.
Lance, once you got your Cerise, did you use your Cerise back in the
I
Thunder Vortex dungeon?
I did use my series back in Thunder Vortex. It was one series versus the entire enemy team, just to let people farm up on me. So that's how I
Oh,
used her in Thunder Arena. But like Cerise, she really has no saving like grace. I guess like because the thing is her attack multiplier, it's really low. It's 134%, and a lot of the 5-star units, even at 5-star, their attack percent multiplier is close to around 200%. So like this unit, it's really for collection. People get her just because they like her how she looks. You know, she's their waifu. That's pretty much her role. Like a nice collection unit that's pretty difficult to get. I know a lot of people. We all got her, and like how I did it was I just waited for all the errors to be fixed, and I just waited for everyone to get worshipped, and then on the last day, I finally just started like playing, and every single win I would get about 200 points because I just kept aiming for people who had worship ranked. So it was fairly easy for me to get 15,000 points because everybody was already there and a lot of people had high points. But I can understand if you start playing this Vortex from the beginning, lots and lots of errors, lots and lots of disconnections. So it was a headache, but I knew that was going to come up. So I just waited till the very last moment. And on the very last moment, I used about 5 gems and I got myself worshipped. So
nicely done.
yeah, that's what I did for her. And collection unit, so you probably won't have any use for her. She's almost exactly like the fire, like Blaze. She's the Thunder version of Blaze, and I've never seen Blaze used ever since he was released. So she's probably gonna set in your inventory something you can show off that, oh yeah, I got this unit and it was really hard to get her and you can't get her anymore for a long time. So just like Hydroloid collector's unit, it's gonna be in your inventory, not really used that much. So 2 stars, and Lord type because we can't choose.
Yep. All right, Storm.
All right, my thoughts on Vorpal Wing Cerise. I'm going to start off by saying this is a fantastic unit. If you're running a mono Thunder squad, and if cost is a serious issue on your squad, so a little qualifier there, yeah. So her leadership skill is she is actually at the center of some big drama on the Facebook groups for Brave Frontier. There's like one wiki that's got her marked as a him. There's one that's got her marked as genderless. So read up on that at some point.
Really?
There's a lot of confusion about the gender of Cerise on certain forums. So that's actually a thing. Anyway, one of the coolest leader skills I've ever seen. As far as name, it's called the Storm Witch's Fury. Anything with Storm in its name, it just gets extra points from me. But it's a 50% boost to attack and a 5% boost to crit for Thunder types. So there's another qualifier there. The Brave Burst is pretty good. It's 8 strong hits. Their Thunder Elemental attack. There's on all enemies, and it increases attack by 75% for 2 turns for Thunder units again. So if you're worried about cost and you're running a mono Thunder squad, this is it for you. Otherwise, yeah, you've got a trophy. You, my friend, have acquired a trophy. On a side note, good luck evolving it. The Thunder Bulb does not yet exist in the Vortex. The only way to get the Thunder Bulb to go from 4 to 5-star is having reached the rank of 1,000 or less on the Thunder Vortex Arena, which was bugged and broken. So, yeah, good luck with that. Gonna have to go with lore typing and a 2-star for this.
Yeah, just on a side note, I think I made it under 1,000, but I don't know because
I
it
sure
still
didn't.
doesn't show up. Pretty sure I made under 1,000 at least, though.
If I got 1 ABP for every time I hit OK, I would be ranked like 3 right now.
Are you sure about that? Because I look at some of the people. Okay, this is how bad it got in Thunder Vortex Arena. Okay, I looked at some of the people in the top 30 that was showing on my screen, and then I looked at other people's top 30 screens, and there were people in there with over 1,000 wins, and that's 300 gems on an event that gives you a 2-star unit, which that's how bad it got. As far as they were willing to spend like a couple hundred gems on this event for no reason, if you ask me.
Man,
Because
they could have used those gems on all of the other great content that Gumi has given us. I mean, like
the
yeah,
half energy
that thing,
Half
yeah.
energy.
vortex,
I don't know
yeah,
what you guys are talking about, but I had a great time farming totems, and
I did
because the
too.
thing is,
I
those
did as
totems,
well. I'm not gonna
those
lie.
totems, like yeah, those totems are half cost, so they're actually a really great way to farm BB feeders too. So yeah, farm the fire one if you need attack feeders, farm the thunder if you need support feeders, and you can get your totems. So
I even though I was on my deathbed, I still managed to get 10 of every single totem.
Yeah. I
Well,
actually suggest to people to use all your keys now, especially your jewel keys. I mean, like, there's never, like, you don't know when the next time we're gonna get half energy out on Vortex. So, like, I know I have like excess keys just sitting there,
but
and
you
I
have
know some
excess
people who
gold
have.
too, right, Nova?
Yeah, I know people who also have like excess keys in their boxes, like dying as well. So don't let them die, guys. If you have the energy, just open it up and get it for 8 energy, because like one of these days you're just gonna find yourself without any money, and then Super Honor Summon will come back and give you all of the money anyway.
all right, Sherlock's. I think the voting has finished, and over half of the people thinks that she deserves a 2-star. So 32 votes, solid
Right.
2-star. And we forgot to mention this, but throughout the show, we'll be actually be giving out Amazon promo codes. So look out for the Amazon promo codes. Sherlock should be posting them. So
Yes.
yeah, so we'll be
Look
posting
out for
them
those.
throughout the show. So there'll be, I believe there'll be 3 promo codes posted throughout the show. So make sure you guys pay attention, and when you guys see it posted, make sure you guys go and redeem it. So
Yep.
yeah.
Speaking of which, there was a Christmas show that we did a couple days ago. Was it 2 days? 2 days ago. And there we gave out like 26 codes, and these are just blank checks. They're like $20 gift codes. You don't have to spend anything. You just apply it to your account, buy some gems, and that's all. And how many gems can you approximately get, Lance? Like
I'm not sure, but
20,
I think I'm not sure, but you should at least get around. I think it was 30 last time,
30.
so like around 30. Yeah.
So there you go. All right, now we are heading to the Agni batch. Agni batch was released 1 to 2 weeks ago, and once again, these units are Agni. If you guys remember, was released a long time ago, way before I started playing, actually. But now they finally have 6-star forms. Let's start with Nova. Your opinion on Agni?
Oh boy. This is one of the units that I was rare summoning for back in the day. Back in the day was when 5-star Alice was like the best thing you could get, and it was pretty bad compared to now. But scaling wise, I think 6-star Agni is more preferred than a 6-star Alice, which is kind of strange because those units were maxed out at 4 stars at one point. So now they get their 6-star forms, everything's great. And looking at Agni, and the 25% attack bonus is okay. There's a lot of better leader skills out there. But the 15% earth damage is probably the only thing you'd use Agni for, so it's not something that you would rare summon for at all. BB and SBB are kind of bland, and there are already units with better stats than these guys. So as far as Agni goes, I mean, he did get an upgrade in his armor, but his defense is still lacking. So gonna have to give him a Guardian typing, and like I would never like this unit is just so situational that I'd have to give him a 3 stars, borderline 2 star because of um like his super brave burst skill. It's like there's just so many better units out right now, and there's already units that are coming soon that will get even better meter skills and brave burst and super brave burst. So the time of these units is just they, it's all in the past now for the most part. So yeah,
And oh yeah, and what's your favorite typing?
Guardian,
Guardian.
because he's knight with armor, needs more armor because his armor is really weak.
Okay. Lance? Agni's SBB, 21 hits, single target, injury effect. Your opinion?
I don't think single target is even like I don't think we care about single target right now. For single target to really matter, it has to be something like crazy, like something like something like infinite BB SBB, like kind of like Sergio or Rogan or Lilith, you know. So yeah, I don't think he really matters. I think Agni was one of the units where I fused away, and when he got his 6 star form, I wasn't sad that I fused him away. That's just how he is. It was like I feel like they didn't do enough for him. You know, that single target. Of course, he gets AOE now on his SBB, but even though he gets SBB, that's AOE. I feel like it's not enough. They have to have something unique and that they can bring, because it's not just about like a single unit anymore. It's about what that unit can bring to the team. I just don't think that he has something unique enough to offer for the team to be on my team. So I definitely think that he's still a okay unit if you manage to get him. He's definitely usable still, but he's just not a top tier unit that you would need on your team, and that you would have to summon, or else you can't do any content. So I'll give him a 3 star for being like pretty average, and I guess one of the things that he's known for is having high attack than average. So probably a breaker type for me because, like you said, Trident is so strong now that you can actually run breakers without being scared now. So yeah.
Storm, I'm curious as to your opinion on your overall impression of this entire batch. Do you think it's fitting that it comes out in late December with these units?
I think this is a batch that got they got left behind, and when Alim started looking towards the 7 stars, this is one of their first batches. The starters were their first batch. They knew that this batch was going to have to get 7 stars relatively early on, if they do the 7 stars for other units, which is what we're predicting. So I think that they're just giving us the 6 stars to catch them up to what is current. So that way, if they do plan on doing 7 stars, they can then 7 star these units because they have a 6 star base. So from what it looks like on their stats, their leadership skills, their SPBs, everything was already planned out for how their 6 star forms were supposed to be. But for some reason that they're probably not ever going to tell us, they just didn't get 6 star forms. I mean, back then, months ago. But as far as Agni is concerned, he's got like their leadership skill makes very little sense to me. And so what it is that this is a fire unit who gives a 25% boost to attack of all units. All right, but he also gives a 15% reduction in damage from earth types. Now, as a fire unit, he's already taking 50% less damage from earth types and dealing that 1.5 times multiplier. So I mean, if you're still having trouble with earth units when you're using a fire squad and you're still not getting there, I don't think that extra 15% reduction is going to do it for you. I think that's going to be a mitigating kind of thing. But I like the name of his leadership skill. It's called Authority of the Earth God. I mean, that's pretty awesome. The thing I like about his Super Brave Burst, besides it being 21 combo attacks, which is pretty good, I like multi hits. I like the fact that it's 4 BC per turn for 3 turns added to your units. And so any kind of unit that gives me additional BC that allows me to spam more, I'm good with. Now, as far as typing goes, I'm gonna go with Breaker. It really came down to either Animal or Breaker because in each stat there's an average, and you have to hit that average, otherwise it's not competitive. With attack, 2100 is really where you want to hit to be average. You want to hit about 2000 with defense, 2000 with recovery, about almost 7k with HP to be about average for what some of the newer units are. And so, in order to get his attack to actually be average, you have to go with the breaker typing. I mean, his defense is so bad, anyways, and defense scales so bad, I might as well just go with breaker.
And how many stars are you giving Agni?
I'm gonna go with 3 stars here.
Okay. All right, Agni's done. And what did the votes look like, Lance?
Right now it's tied between 1 star and 5 star. So one person needs to break the tie and let us know what they think.
Oh, 1 star and 5 star, guys.
1 star and 2 star. Yeah.
Oh,
1 star and 2
1
star.
2 stars. I'm like 1 and 5. Wow.
While people are deciding, I'm actually going to answer a question from Vasky. Vasky is asking me. I said on my stream a few days earlier that you can actually get about 300 gems for about $40 if you win one of the Amazon codes. And how you do that is by you buying Amazon coins. So you can get 10,000 coins for $70, and if you use a $20 Amazon gift card, then you knock that off to $50. And if you go to gift.com, it's gyft.com, you can actually get $5 off Amazon gift card. So if you on Christmas they actually gave you an additional $5 off too, so you can save you more money. But that promo is over. So go to gift.com, you'll get $5 off with your Amazon promo code, and then if you win a $20 Amazon gift card, you'll take $25 off of 70. And with 10,000 coins, it's not exactly 300, but I believe it's close to around maybe 280 gems. So that's how you do it.
All right. Now, do we have a tiebreaker, Lance?
It actually went to 2 stars and 3 stars now.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's 9, and there we go. 3 star, 10. Yeah, votes, yeah.
What just happened?
There we go.
That's 11.
Unfortunately, there is currently still the ability to vote for multiple options. We should probably remove that.
Oh, God.
Oh.
What?
So he got a 3 star?
It's 11, 11. Oh, God. People are
Funny
trolling.
story is now it's a 3-way tie for 5, 4, and 3.
Yeah, since we saw the 3 star first, we'll go with a 3 star for the tiebreaker.
3 star. Okay.
Yeah, so we can go on.
All right, guys. We're gonna try to remove the multiple voting.
All right, I think that's Pika's roll. Pika.
Next unit up, water unit, Sergio. Lance, want to start with you. Sergio, Rogan, Lilith. They all refill BB. Does Sergio fall into the same category?
Yes and no. Yes, because like his SBB works the same way as theirs, but no, because it's actually the damage is actually a little bit lower than theirs. For example, he does 600% damage multiplier at SBB 10, and Lilith I believe does 620, and Rogan does a lot more. I can't remember, but I think it's like 680 or something, maybe something like that. I think just because he's I guess he's a free unit, I guess, that you can get. I think like they decided to lower his damage. I can, because the thing is, it's really hard to use them because there's no fire, like a fire boss that's so strong that you want to bring water units to fight him. I mean, if this was the times where, the Vargas Legendary Vortex was out, and he was out at this time that the Vortex was open and people were fighting him, then of course he's useful. But now we have such strong units that like the use for him is like there's really no use for him anymore. I think if you're gonna bring a unit that does a ton of damage, I think you should opt for a Rogan. And if you were to bring a unit that does neutral damage, you would bring Lilith because Lilith is good for any element, like earth, water. You bring Lilith and she does neutral damage. But the thing is, Sergio, he might have a weakness, when it comes to maybe fighting like thunder bosses. So, and his damage multiplier isn't as high as theirs. I mean, it's close, but it's not high as theirs. So that's his weakness. And the main weakness with Rogan, Lilith, those type of units is that they're really strong for boss fights, but 90% of the time they're gonna be sitting in your inventory. You don't normally bring them when you're questing and farming. Zonite is always there with you, helping you out. Max was always there. Maybe Trident, but these units that are really powerful. They're just usually sitting in inventory until a strong boss challenger appear. And then you will fight them with these units. So I can see why he's good, but there's also like a lot of negatives in him right now too. So for that, I'll give him a 3-star. And Sergio, anima type.
Storm, what do you think about Sergio?
All right, when it comes to Sergio, he's like the ability to use their Brave Burst and automatically, or Super Brave Burst, excuse me, and automatically refill is one of my favorite mechanics in the game. Mostly because I just like to attack, 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 attack. Now, when I compare Sergio to other units, I only find, like, of the current units currently available, I only find Lilith as an accurate comparison because Rogan does all of his damage in one hit, whereas Sergio and Lilith are kind of side by side with the multi-hit, spread out, easily sparkable, more chances to crit, etc., etc. And so if you look at Sergio versus Lilith, their stats are almost exactly the same. Sergio's SBB has a 600% multiplier, while hers has a 620% multiplier. He does more hits on every step of the way with a 1 burst coin additional cost for his SBB. Now, most of the time, you're going to pick Lilith because she's always going to have neutral damage. There's nothing that's going to be like, hey, I'm Thunder. You're not really going to do anything here. Lilith's still going to punch him in the face. What I like about Sergio versus Lilith, though, is he has a probable weakness effect. And I like that that's added up there, just in case you're not one-shotting, you have a chance to decrease their defense and do even extra damage on the next turnaround. Now, everyone knows that Rogan is really where it's at for me. It's my favorite unit of the BB refillers. But I do like Sergio. I don't feel like he's completely useless because he can refill his SBB. But, I mean, if you have a Rogan, I would use the Rogan instead. As far as typing goes for Sergio, I would definitely pick Breaker. This is a unit that's meant to attack over and over again, kill the enemy. You can supplement his other stats in other ways, but attacking is the most important aspect of this unit because he is meant to do his attack every single turn.
Mm-hmm. And how many stars are you giving?
We're going to go with a 3-star as well.
All right. So Storm mentioned the attack, and it makes sense because Sergio's base attack as a breaker is only 2003, and we have plenty of units over 2000 as just a flat lord. So, Nova, what do you think about Sergio? Are you really going to give Sergio a guardian typing?
Well, we'll see. Because one of the things that I kind of hold true between all these units, and I'm probably not going to change, is that they fall under the category of like a unit that you need, but it's not as like this section. I call it the Super Brave Burst single target forever types isn't as necessary as the other two, which are the 1/2 damage mitigation units or the very, very small category of Zelnite, which is give everything to your team. So here we have Sergio, and everybody is comparing it to Rogan and Lilith. And one of the things that really just stands out are the lower like kind of base stats. And when Lilith came out, it was like okay because Lilith was new. But now, like a couple of months later, like a long time later, you get Sergio, who's on that same kind of level as Lilith. and it's not really something that you'd really want to summon for, but it's still something that a lot of people would like to have. Unlimited Brave Burst is kind of nice, especially if you don't have like teams that can keep up unlimited Brave Burst on multiple enemies. When you start to get down to like two enemies or one enemy, you'd want more units that can dish out damage like every turn. So I guess Sergio, for me, I'd give him a 4 stars, because out of the units that have been out and the units that are coming, it's still not something that's completely obsolete, the unlimited Brave Burst. So it's like a unit that you still want to get. As for myself, I have an Oracle. Boo, it sucks. But I do have one. Now, as far as typing goes, I actually place these units in a completely different category when it comes to typing. I've given pretty much like all of these units with unlimited Brave Burst. I actually want anima typing on them, and there's only one reason for that, is that the Divine Stone, and now I have this new shiny Sacred Gem, which gives 50% or 100% stats across the board when you have unlimited Brave Burst. And for the most part, these units will never lose Brave Burst, so it's pretty safe to put those kinds of spheres on them. And when you look at it on that end, having extra HP as opposed to extra of the other stats kind of falls off, because they gain 50% extra. So I'd actually go with anima on this case.
Interesting. Well, Anima Breaker for Sergio. Would you dual Sphere Frog of Sergio, Nova?
No. In this category of single target damage dealers, I feel like isn't strong enough that warrants Spear Frog. Because the thing is, I'd like my unit, that Spear Frog, to either be able to do everything well, or the most difficult content really well. And when I think about the most difficult content, I don't really see myself exactly bringing, just like a Sergio or a Lilith or a Rogan, just for that'll probably keep me straight through for everything, because Lilith is like standard light type, no weaknesses, but she isn't like high stats or relatively new anyway, so you wouldn't want to Sphere Frog that. Sergio has the Thunder element weakness, and Rogan has the Earth element weakness, so I can't really say that Sphere Frogging that would be good either, because they do have weaknesses, and it's not something that like you'd immediately think of Sphere Frogging first. Trident, however, like doesn't matter what you have, you Sphere Frog that. Same thing with Altor, I think.
All right, I understand. Lance?
Yes.
What did the viewers vote?
So they think that Sergio deserves a 3-star too. 10 votes.
3 stars, 10 votes. Let's move on to Lilith. All right, guys, Lilith. Well, what does she do? She does an Earth AoE attack and gives a Heart Crystal buff. She also does something else that I don't remember, but I compare her to Luli. Storm, let's start with you. What do you think about Lilith?
Lilith. All right, so let's see. So we've got the goddess Lilith. Her leadership skill is called Authority of the Thunder God. Now, again, I'm not a big fan of these leadership skills. I love the boost to attack power. It doesn't need a qualifier. It's just 25% across the board. The problem is there's so many higher attack boosters like Ultor, who's 50%, no requirements, just 50% across the board. Their second ability is a 15% reduction in the elements that they're strong against anyways. And so that's kind of ridiculous to add that up there. You don't need that extra bit. There might be a few scenarios where you need every bit of mitigation that you can get, but bringing someone who's got such a terrible stats like Lilith just seems, like a bad idea anyways. Now, the Super Brave Burst we're looking at is called Holy Crown, which is a cool name. 22 combo, powerful attack, but it boosts BC or HC drop rate and it negates status elements for 3 turns. And so what we've got here is an offensive pseudo healer. She's going to keep you from getting any kind of debuffs on you, but she's also going to give you the extra heart coin drops you need. So that way you don't necessarily need a healer on your team unless it's like a trial or something. You can bring her instead. And now you're looking at additional heart coins coming towards you to heal your team up to max. without having to waste a slot on a tree or on a Limo or somebody who can't attack as well. So I'm going to give Lilith a very strong 3. I know it sounds like the same kind of 3 I gave Sergio, but this is a much stronger 3. And we're going to go with the anima typing here. You might as well increase that HP roof so that heart coins are giving more.
All right. Nova?
Okay, so Lilith for me is pretty much kind of a lackluster imitation of Fee, because the Heart Crystal buff all started when Fee came out, and then you've got other units that kind of do the same thing, but generally it got better or it was worse. And in this case, with the stats, comparing Lilith to a Fee, I think I'd take the Fee more, because I honestly think that her leader skill is better than a generic 25% attack buff and the 15% thunder damage, because that's a lot more specific. And with the attack buff being like 25%, we don't dabble in like 25% and below things unless it's all stats. You need to get up to 50, 65, 75, 100% for it to be viable as a leader. And then spread-wise, Lilith kind of lacks a lot of defense, so I'm definitely going to get the Guardian typing on that. Like recovery, I have a bad feeling that like recovery will come back like randomly and be an important stat. So I really don't want to mess too much around with recovery somehow, because it just, my gut is telling me for some reason that recovery will be viable eventually. Just like how they made defense more viable in Japan, I believe. And I think there's going to be a lot more variations. So Lilith, though, I would not use her ever anymore, just because of how out of place she feels in the meta. There's a lot of good Earth units out already, and there are a lot of other units that can take her role in a sense. Like looking at Ferris, even though the Heart Crystal buff is only to herself, just the amount of stats and kind of better utility the crit buff gives is more important than the Heart Crystal buff from Lilith for me. So I'd just give this unit a 3 stars as well, kind of on the lower end, Guardian typing.
And Lance, this batch is called Expendable Sidekicks, and I'm feeling like they are definitely expendable, like they're actually not needed. I'm looking at all these stats for all these units, and they're not hitting the 2,000 mark unless you give that, the specific typing. If it's Breaker, its attack just barely makes over 2,000. If it's Guardian, Defense. But there's great units like Novas pointed out, such as Ferris or even Luca, that has just like base attack. They're just like over 2,000. So, what is your opinion on Lilith?
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Trelax. Like how a lot of these units they don't break over 2,000 attacks. That's one of the biggest drawback between them is low stats. You're looking at units now that have stats around 7,500 average stats, and these units are just not hitting that mark. So these are going to be weaker units in everything they do. They're going to have lower HP, they're going to take more damage, they're going to do less damage. So it's really hard. And these units, when you look at their leader skills, you don't even consider, you just look past it and say, okay, all these leader skills for this set sucks. They're not good. All right, let's look at their SBB and look for something that we can use. So this is the reason why this set it's pretty weak right now. So I have a hard time deciding between Lilith. It's really hard to decide for her. But the thing is, I feel like she has potential. But the thing is, to get to that potential, that means you have to take a risk and invest in like BB leveling her to SBB 10. Invest and you're using burst frogs on her, and I feel like she might have that potential, like Storm was talking about. But the thing is, what if she's not that strong, like Nova was talking about? So it feels like no one's willing to take like a risk Right now, for Heart Crystal buff, we have. If it wasn't for Zelnite, then like maybe people will take a look at her because 70% Heart Crystal buff is ridiculous to the entire team. We're looking at around 30% to our team, which is the average before she came out, and even 30% chance, 30% chance of increasing 30% chance to increase heart crystals. Even that, it's really powerful at 30%. So now we're looking at 70% chance. So I'm thinking, is that potential? Like, can she give your entire team like infinite HP every single round by just attacking? The thing is, we don't know because no one is willing to invest all that feeders, all that burst frogs, into getting her to SBB 10. So she can be really strong or she can be really weak, because the thing is, right now, the person who's the leader of Heart Crystal Healing is Zonite. Zonite, he does everything. He heals you. He increases your BB gauge. He item drop rate. Like Zonite does everything for you. And so I'm thinking right now that, what if she's just as good as Zonite, but the thing is Zonite does more? Or what if she's like so good that she can actually replace Zonite? So right now, I'm just gonna give her a 3-star.
Okay.
And I'm typing.
All right. Viewers.
All right, viewers thinks that she deserves a 3-star too.
Okay. 3s are on the board, and the next unit is the Thunder unit Falma. Yes, Falma. Okay, Nova, we're starting with you this time.
Okay.
So Falma, right? 19 hit AoE and gives attack, defense, recovery to all for 3 turns. So Nova, does that mean I won't need a Kuda for the attack buff or Eve for the defense buff anymore? Am I replacing all those units for a Falma?
No.
Oh.
And I will give you many reasons why. Okay. So in the past there was this unit called Leorone, which gave 3 buffs all in one. It's the attack, defense, and recovery buff. And when that came out, it was pretty crazy because we never had anything like that. And as far as units were back then, we didn't have as much variety or as much high percentages as we do now in global. So when the 70% buff to all came out first, it was pretty big. You didn't really have to bring other units when you could just bring one, and trying to get that one unit instead of multiple units in a team at the time, was kind of a reasonable trade-off. But now those units like Kuda and Luca and even like Eve, they all give something on top of that, which is the element buff as well. And they also do considerable amount of hits, which is similar to Falma. Now the thing with Falma is, like the rest of this set, it's really the lack of stats, which is really hurting. Because moving forward, we already reached cost 28, where these units have averaged like 2k and above stats across the board, especially when you throw in spheres on top of that. And when you dual sphere units, you wanna keep the stats high because you also want to give those units more buffs to make them even better than they were before. So in the same line of thinking, if you want to do that to a Falma, doesn't really go too far, because even though the paralysis AoE is nice, I just don't think that makes up for the lack of stats. And even though the buffs are like 70%, which is still good, it's not really going to get you too far, because there's just other forms of utility that also include attack, defense buffs. And for me, the recovery buff is kind of meh, so I wouldn't really count that too much either. So you're just looking at 70% attack and defense for the most part, and then paralysis AoE. And the only reason I take a Falma was probably for the paralysis anyway, and since there are other units like Samira that can do that more with other status ailments, Falma doesn't look as appealing. However, just as a unit, he does give all these buffs and paralysis, so he's not like entirely bad. It's like a very low 4-star for me, but I really wouldn't place him anything higher than that at all. He doesn't reach the kinds of units that we need for future content or content that's out right now. Even for Thunder Vortex Arena, I've seen Falmas used, but the BB single target really didn't help too much. So I'm gonna have to give him Guardian typing though, because I do like him. Falma's pretty cool.
So what
He
was
just
that?
looks
Is it
cool.
3-star in Guardian?
4-star
4-star in
Guardian.
Guardian. Okay. Lance?
I agree with Nova that Fama seems like a Leoron, and I've actually maxed up my Leoron to SBB10, and that was one of the biggest regrets I've had playing this game. Was I wasted so many burst frogs on my Leoron, and I just used him for like maybe a few times and never touched him again. I actually fused away my SBB10 Leoron.
No!
Yeah,
What?
I fused him away because I wasn't using him, and
Oh. Into what?
yeah, I fused him for BB levels for another unit. It seems like if your unit is a 6-star and has SBB 10 or whatever, it seems like the chances of him increasing your unit's other units BB,
So
it's a lot higher.
That's what you've
So-
been doing in your spare time.
Yeah,
Using
yeah, testing.
SBB10 units and testing
Yes,
the
fusing
rates.
SBB 10 units. Yeah. So yeah, but the thing is, for me, it feels like the meta right now is you either go all attack or you go all defense. Because the thing is, it seems like no one really likes Lord type because Lord is, oh, they're good for attacking and they're good for defending, but they're like plain vanilla ice cream, you know? So it feels like right now, a lot of people feel like they either go all offensive, like Storm, or they go all defensive, like Nova. And it feels like a unit that does everything average. It seems like I don't think that's going to be a really great unit. For a unit to be spectacular, he needs to be like Rogan, does a ton of damage, have a high base attack, or be like Trident, like the defense king, save team from anything, So Palma falls right in the middle. He tries to do everything. He tries to increase your, he gives you a buff to increase your stats. But the thing is, yeah, your attack, defense, and recovery goes up, but they only go up to 70%. And I feel like that's where Leron fell off. He tried to do everything, but just didn't do it well enough. I feel like if it was somewhere closer to maybe like 90% or somewhere closer to like 100%, then it would be something different. But then I've learned from Leron that 70% chance does not cut it. I would rather go with 115% Kula or something like a 100% defense unit if I need that defense. And I just don't think that units that try to do everything but do it like right in the middle, I don't think that like those units are going to be units that people will be using a lot. So and the thing about the paralyze effect on the skill, paralyze is always nice to have, but the thing is, I don't think that I don't think that an attack that has paralyze is going to be what we're looking for in the future. I think that what we're going to be looking for in the future is something like Priscilla, where she gives it to the entire team, and then your entire team can have 3 turns with a paralyzed buff to cast it on the enemy. So I think something like that is what the future meta is looking for. Or if you're serious about having paralyzing or causing stats elements to the enemy team, there's always Samira. So Samira just got her 6-star, and she's like crazy when it comes to stats effect. So yeah, for this reason, gonna put him right in the middle, like his skills. So 3 stars, and probably anima type. Yeah.
Storm?
All right, when it comes to Falma, this guy has amazing sprite artwork. One of the coolest looking units by far from this batch. I actually have a couple of good things to say about him. His Super Brave Burst, which is a 19 hit, anything that's like 20 hits or higher is really good in my opinion. So 19 hits is right there on the threshold. The fact that it does 19 hits, it has a 60% chance to paralyze enemies. And it's got that Leorone-like effect where it's the attack, the defense, and the recovery. He's kind of an all-around superstar. He's a jack of all trades, master of none. And so, I mean, when you're going for specific things, he's not going to be the guy you want to go to. But if you have a restriction on what units you can pick, go ahead and pick up Valma. He's not going to bring you red. He's not going to do you wrong. He'll take you through just about all of the questing content as one of your DPSs. That 70% boost to attack, defense, and recovery will help you with mitigation, sustainability, and attacking. His Super Brave Burst from 0 to finish costs only 40 BC, which is really low. Again, I've talked about their leadership skills with each version of these we've done. And his leadership skill being Authority of the Water God. Again, 25% boost to attack. Yeah, nice. 15% reduction in damage from water types. Well, whatever, I guess. Not really a huge thing I'm worried about. I really like Falma when it comes to Breaker. That's totally not because I have one that's 6-star and Breaker. That's totally not it. But I'm probably going to give him a very solid 3. When you compare him to the newer units and all the units that are currently available, not really that great of a unit. But if you're looking for a DPS who's got a low cost, who's at 24 cost, or you're just trying to get something who's got a bunch of multi-hits so you can try and do an SPB spam team, Falma is definitely a good choice to pick from. I actually use Leorone for most of my questing days because he was my 4th ever summon in his 6-star form. So I definitely enjoy having that attack, defense, and recovery all in one unit because I didn't have a Kuda then. I didn't have a Ciara. I didn't have any of these units who were just absolute masters of their particular area. So don't feel too bad about raising this one. It's one of my favorites out of this batch. And he has a pretty good imp spread. And that's pretty much all I can say about Falma.
And your typing preference?
Breaker. Breaker all the way. 19 hits with that Breaker status. Yeah.
So, did the viewers agree on the 3 and the 4s, Lance?
It's actually tied right now, 2-star and 2-star. So
2-star
yeah.
and 3-star?
No, I mean 2-2, 4-star and 5-star, 2-2. So.
All right, guys, come on and vote. We know this is the Agni batch, and
No one's really interested. Like I think it was one of the really hyped batch last time. What was it? Zell Knight? Was it the Zell Knight or
Zell Knight, and then the Maxwell batch was.
Yeah. I think those votes were flying off the charts. Like as soon as the
Zell
votes.
Knight, Elsa.
Yeah.
Basically, the units that had good units.
Yeah, those were the times where we had like over what, like we had like 190 votes, and there's only 115 people in the chat. It was crazy like that during those times. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, while you guys are voting, I just have to say that on our website under events and winners, we have all the winners listed. They're now listed. So if you see your name on there, it should be on there if you want something from us. And if you don't, just send us like a Twitch message and we'll put your name on there as well. We have a lot of winners on here. There's like, have you guys seen it yet? The website? I don't know. There's like over like 200 people listed.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that aren't listed either.
Yeah.
It's too much.
So
all right, it's tied right now at 3-star and 5-star. Okay, we just got a tiebreaker for 3 stars, so we can go. 3 stars, 5 votes.
All right, guys. Next unit is Hate. All right, Hate.
Height.
I always thought it was height too.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I thought it
Hate,
was Hate because I mean
Hate.
I never used this guy. Well, why? Well, because I believe he was single target at 5 stars, but apparently, at 6-star they always get these AOE things that just to juggle our minds. Just like, hey, there's a tease, but is he really good, Storm?
I'm going to say yes. Now, Height, if you guys don't know, is the star of the hit movie Cowboys versus Aliens. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch it. You'll be like, oh yeah, man, that is Height. That was a joke. Okay, tough crowd.
To check out
So again, we've got that leadership skill that I absolutely hate. He's got Authority of the Dark God, 25% boost to attack. Yay, 15% reduction in damage from dark types. Well, it actually kind of makes sense here. Because they take with light and dark, they're each their own worst enemies. So it actually kind of makes sense here because you're going to take that extra damage from dark units when you're fighting them with height, and you're going to do the extra damage to dark units. So I actually like his leadership skill here in this one specific scenario. Now, what I really like is his super brave burst called Meteor Stream. It's a 20 combo light elemental attack on all enemies, so it's got that AoE going on. He's got the boost to burst coins, which is 50%, and HC drop rate, which is 30%. Plus, he adds in a defense ignoring effect to all units for 2 turns. Other than Cheetah, this is like my favorite unit from this batch. So I'm going to go with 4 stars on height, and I'm going to say Breaker because he kind of needs that attack stat. But yeah, Cowboys versus Aliens, guys. This is definitely the guy from the movie, I think. I might be misquoting something.
All right, Nova. Your turn.
Okay. So I remember when Height was a 4-star, he got this little wimpy gun that nobody really cared about. And then you looked at his 5-star, they actually made it, kind of viable. And then you looked at his 6-star form, and it's out of control. It's like a futuristic, like, ultra magnum shotgun, and it kind of blows people away. But height doesn't really blow me away because the boost to Battle Crystal and Heart Crystal is to yourself, and I don't see height as like a unit that you like really center your team around anyway. Ignoring defense for 2 turns. There's a lot of units that do that on their Super Brave Burst, and they're only used in cases where you need to ignore defense. You really don't plan to have your ignore defense on your standard team at all in most cases. The only time I really see it is if like you're running your Raiden because you want that 70% spark damage, and then the 2-turn defense ignore goes along really well with that. Although it is 20 hits, which is pretty high, there are a lot of other light units like Zelha and Maxwell that go even higher than that. So I really wouldn't place him as one of the highest hitting AoE Brave Burst. But then he got his regular Brave Burst, which is still a single target, although it does do pretty high hits. I still wouldn't consider height to be a unit that you should really try for anyway, in my opinion. I think this unit will just get a 3 from me. Probably just get Guardian because I just get everything Guardian anyway. And I guess he does look like a pretty respectable cowboy now.
4 stars?
3.
3? Okay.
Guardian.
All right, Lance?
I'm gonna give you guys a little bit spoiler, but this guy is probably my second favorite unit besides Sheeta. So I'll let you guys know why this is my second favorite unit. As you guys know, we love Vilnius. Vilnius came out this was Vilnius Brave Frontier, right?
Vilnius?
Vilnius, yeah. Vilnius.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this was a Vilnius Brave Frontier, right? Everybody used him. They loved him. And that was because of his leader skill, Ares Excelsior, and his Super Brave Burst, which increased Battle Crystal drop. So he gives 30% Battle Crystal extra drops. And that was really good. And then Uda came, and then Uda did the same thing, and everyone loved that. And now Height got his 6-star, and so his Battle Crystal boost is 50% chance. That's probably one of the highest in the game. 50% chance as a buff for Battle Crystal's drop, and this is the reason why. That's part one of the reason why I like Height so much. So I was playing the Christmas Vortex. And so I was trying. I'm really lazy when it comes to playing Brave Frontier. I like to auto battle. So the only way you can auto battle the Christmas Vortex is if your team can one shot the enemy at the boss at the end of level 4. And so I was looking at ways to actually one shot the boss, and that requires units that can actually units that has a buff that goes through damage, so damage ignoring buffs. And when you look at units that have that can actually ignore damage, there's only very few units. When I was thinking, I was like, okay, so I have my Delma, I have my Zephyr, I have my Raiden, and the only other unit that can actually that comes to my mind is this height right here. And height not only can actually gives you a buff that actually goes past the enemy's defense. He gives you this really nice 50% buff so that you can maintain infinite PP throughout the battle. So this is why I like height so much, and this is why I like height so much. So I unfortunately I wasn't lucky enough to get a height, but my second favorite unit, and I love his 50% battle crystal drop rate, which is probably like the highest in the game that I can think of right now.
It is a buff
And
to himself only, right?
I think this is I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but I
it's
think this
above
is
to himself.
oh
Yeah, which is why I was like, it's good, but it's only to yourself.
Yeah.
it says boost to battle crystal, heart crystal, and add defense ignoring to all units for 2 turns. Well, maybe we overlooked it. Like we thought that it was single target. Well, does
The
anyone
battle
have
crystal
them?
and heart crystal drop rate is to self, because it's similar to his brave burst skill, which is to self. And then the ignore defense is for your entire team.
Oh, okay. If it's to yourself, then it's not that strong. Okay, I think I might have misread it. But if it's to your team, then he's really good. But it's to yourself, then that's a different story. Then he becomes average again. But like I was saying, that the ignore defense effect, really few units have them. So that alone places him with Delma and Zephyr. So yeah, but I'll just go as if it's AOE
right.
right now, because I don't have them, so I want to run a test to see if it works on himself or entire team, because that's what the raw stat says. I'm looking at the raw stats right now, and it says AOE. So I'm thinking it's AOE, unless someone has him and has him with this SBB, and it's like for himself. So, but I'll give him like a high 3 stars,
Okay.
and anima typing. What I'd like to do is units that focus in attack, like for example Rogan, like units that heavily focus on attack like Rogan. I like to go with breaker type, but these units that gives like a lot of buffs, I like to go with anima types. So that's how I decided my units. So I'll go with anima type and 3 stars.
And viewers, what did they think?
So viewers thinks that he deserves 3 star
All right.
for votes.
Final unit of the Agni batch is here, Sheeta. Now, the hype was for Sheeta in this batch, and Sheeta came, but Sunique fused all of them away. So, my question to you, Nova, is this.
Yes.
This is kind of trivia. Let's see if you know the answer to this. Is Sheeta a guy or a girl?
Cheetah is a guy, because I owned him in his 4-star form, and I clearly there was no indication of female, and I actually used him for about a month. So this was back when the Atro debate was happening. So it was when they're kind of figuring out like who's a male and who's a female, and Atro was like the front runner of that, and then you had other units like Elmo and Cheetah and Locke. And then people were kind of like, oh, that's a guy, or that's a girl. Then everybody kind of like got that through their heads. It's kind of funny.
All right. So Sheeta's here. What do you think?
I guess the impact of Sheeta isn't as big as it is now, because we have so many other units that give multiple element buffs. And I can't believe I'm going to be the one to say this, but I think Sheeta is a unit that you can kind of slightly pass over in a sense of if you have the other units from the Fiora batch, to kind of cover your elements, because you can obviously just get Gra for light and dark. Then you just have to worry about your fire, thunder, and your water, earth elements. So that's just 2 units. Other than that, I think Cheetah is pretty good in that aspect of giving your entire team all your elements. You don't have to worry about bringing other units, because I know a fancy team that we used to run for Frontier Hunter at one point was all of Michelle's batch, aside from Tiara, because she kind of sucked, in a team. And that synergized really well. And Sheeta's here kind of synergizes well with any team for that. The only downside I have about using Sheeta is that, number one, he doesn't attack, and number one, he has to go first. If you use him like second or third in a turn, it kind of feels awkward because you're not getting as much mileage out of it. And the BB fill happens instantly when you do a Super Brave Burst. So no matter what, you have to activate like Sheeta first. Otherwise, it kind of doesn't work. So with that in mind, having to activate Sheeta's Super Brave Burst first, and then all your other buffs, and then your attacks, it's pretty much how you use your Sheeta, and then later on you just use his regular BB if you want to add more hits, which is kind of a pretty good design for Sheeta. The only qualms I have about his BB is that it does take 34 battle crystals to fill, and that's kind of a lot. I've used Sheeta on the Japanese version. I have a Guardian Sheeta there, and I kind of don't like using it all the time because it kind of feels like I'm missing a lot of damage. Sure, the all elements buff is great, but actually missing an entire unit's worth of damage for me wasn't worth the trade-off. So now, luckily, I do have the other elements like Fiora and Eve to give those other element buffs. So for me, Sheeta is going to get a 4-star. It's going to be a high 4-star, but he's definitely going to be the best unit in this batch. If Sheeta did get some form of AoE attack, it would be complete. Then I wouldn't have any problems with him. And since his role is like not to attack, in a sense, you've got to give him Guardian typing.
Mm-hmm. And Storm, what do you think of Sheeta?
All right, Death God Sheeta, finally, the god of Frontier Hunter has arrived. With his ability to grant all elements and fill BB gauge by 10 BC, he is kind of the be-all, end-all when it comes to Frontier Hunter. Now, I know some people are saying there are these other elements. Sure, there are other units that can do it, but Sheeta's the all-in-one utility. He is all of them as one. So with this, I can now have my dream of running a 5 Zelnite squad and 1 Cheetah, and I'll have all the elements covered. It'll work. Definitely. Kinda, maybe. So when it comes to Sheeta, his leadership skill is called Authority of the Light God. This is the only other version of this leadership skill, which I actually appreciate. The 25% boost to attack, yay, and a 15% reduction in damage from light types. Well, this is one of the few instances where it's really nice. His BC amount for his Super Brave Burst is kind of ridiculous. It needs like 46 to do. It's 46 or 60 something. I can't remember the exact amount. I think it's 46, which is kind of ridiculous. It's a little more than it needs to be, but it's fine. It's definitely manageable. It's definitely doable, especially in Frontier Hunter when you're just going to Fewing Potion him anyways and go right into it. I like his Brave Burst, where it's a 25 combo, massive dark attack on all enemies. It doesn't have the modifier it needs to be really top tier, and he doesn't really have the stats to back it up. So what you're really using him for is that Super Brave Burst Grand Cross, and that's where he adds all elements to attacks for your allies for 3 turns, and he immediately increases the BB gauge by 10. And so eventually what you have here is you have a Sheeta that's 10, you have Zelnite that's 8, you have Falma that's 4, that's 22 BC on all of your units right there. I mean, eventually where you get enough of these units where you can just have a 6-man squad where they're just always Super Brave versing regardless of how many BC you get from the enemy. I'm definitely going to give Sheeta a 5-star. I'm going to put him as an anima typing because he's going to need as much HP as he can get. He doesn't really do a whole bunch of attacking with a Super Brave Burst. In fact, I'd call it 0 attacking with a Super Brave Burst. So he's going to need as much survivability as possible to keep him alive, to keep him doing his Super Brave Burst or his Brave Burst. But really, he's got like the best sprite and animation I've seen in a while. So pretty awesome.
So that was a 5 in Guardian.
No, no, five in anima. The way points in defense, the way they stack isn't really as much as you could get off of 700 HP.
Okay. So Lance, Storm mentioned, the all elements to allies for 3 turns. Does it increase his own BB gauge?
I don't know. Like, I'm not sure because my Sheeta doesn't have SVB, but if it works the same way as Zone Knight, then no. Only for all the other units.
Okay.
But if it works a different mechanic, then it will go on himself. The reason why I haven't like tried it out is because, like Storm said, this is the God of Frontier Hunter, like a unit that you should yeah, focus on when the Frontier Hunter is coming out. I believe if it wasn't for the Fura batch, this unit would get a solid 5 star, like a solid 5 star. But the thing is, the Fura batch, they kind of take care of that for you. You just place about 2, 3 of them in a team, and they do what Ashita does, and they also do damage when they cast their SBB. Sheeta's main weakness is that he does no attack using the SBB. So it's amazing that he can cast all these elements. But the thing is, you're missing like a unit is not attacking, and that's a lot of damage. A lot of the time, when you're running a lot of these like units that can buff multiple elements, you want to kill the enemy in 1 turn. So if you're using Sheeta to buff, you're missing a lot of damage, and that enemy might not die in 1 turn. So if you're gonna be using Sheeta, you're gonna be saying, okay, so I'll buff this turn, and then next turn I'll attack and kill the enemy. That's what you're trading off when you're using Sheeta, and it's really hard because even though you have the you have the elemental buff, that's only 50% increase in damage, and if I read it correctly, I believe that Maxwell's leader skill or units that have elemental increased bonus damage, it only works on units that's element and not on buffs, so you won't get the buff. I believe you used to be able to do it, but now after all these patches, it only works like the leader skills only works if that unit is that type and not on the buffs. So it's not as useful anymore. You get the 50% attack up because you have the buff, but it doesn't work with the leader skills. So that's what I understand. This unit, this unit is a unit that it's not for lazy people. This unit you have to actually pay attention. You don't have to just keep using him for his leaders for his SBB. The way I see him is you let's say you go on to like a quest, and instead of using his SBB every turn, you have to actually go and use his BB because that 25 hit attack, yeah, it costs a lot, like Noah says, but the thing is, it also does a lot of damage. A lot of units with BB, I believe the damage multiplier is a lot lower. It's around 200%, maybe 300%. But this Sheeta, his BB does 400%, which is this is the amount of damage that a lot of SBB dealt, around 400%, and it does 25 hits. So you can't be lazy and all the battle when using Sheeta. What you have to do is you have to use his BB, 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 and then when it comes to a boss that's really difficult, has a lot of HP, and you can't kill in 1 turn, you use his SBB, and then you have 3 turns to use his attacks, his BB, and do damage for 3 turns. And if the boss is not dead, you go and use SBB again, and then you have 3 more turns to attack the boss. And I believe this is the best way to use Sheeta, and yeah, but but the thing is, you can't be lazy, and you have to manual play using Sheeta. And if you're really focused on getting the most points in Fortune Hunter, I think this is a good way to do it by using Sheeta and just buffing everybody, and it's slowly chipping away the enemy's HP bar until it's really low, and then you overkill them, and that's how you can get the most points in the Fortune Hunter. But yeah, that's how you use Sheeta. And if it wasn't for Fear Batch, easy 5-star. But since there's Fear Batch outside, um, a solid 4-star. And I love anima typing, so I'll go with anima typing. If Sheeta, if the SBB actually does damage, then Breaker would be nice, but doesn't do any damage, so I'll go with anima type.
Lance, do you have a Sheeta?
I do have a Sheeta. I have a Breaker Sheeta and a Guardian Sheeta. So
Okay,
I'm
got your bases
yeah, I'm
covered.
with Storm and Nova. Yeah.
Nova, do you have a Sheeta?
I have a guardian cheetah.
You sound so miserable. Why is that?
Because I'm not gonna I'm just gonna use it, and then it's gonna like die randomly, and then I'm gonna feel bad because it's not a guardian or animal.
Okay, I gotcha. Storm, do you
But-
have a Sheeta?
No, I summoned like a bunch for Sheeta, but I got an Ultri and a whole bunch of crap. Like the rare summon gate was full of nothing but liquid crap.
Wait. So were the rates actually up for that batch?
I have like 4 Sergios, but that's about it.
They
Okay,
didn't
so
really feel like they were up.
Sergio rates were up. Oh Jesus, so many Sergios. I've got an Anima, a Lord, a Breaker, an Oracle.
oh wow. Okay.
On side notes, I'm selling Sergios. I've got them for sale on the Sheep Guys.
All right. Okay, so let's factor the viewers' vote in here, and we'll move on to the Christmas batch.
All right, so 21 people. That's a lot of people. Thinks he deserves a 2-star. Yeah,
All right. Well, Sheeta is a little late to the game.
yeah. He is pretty late to the game.
And I have to agree that with Sheeta, you're gonna have to alternate between SBB and BB.
Yeah, you have to alternate it. But the thing is,
I've actually used it, and you don't get SBB all the time because when you're facing like 2 units, and then you're missing an entire unit's worth of attack, that actually is a lot of battle
Yeah.
missiles.
yeah, exactly, Nova. That's why I couldn't give him a 5-star. But yeah,
Because then you'd have to use other units like Storm's 5 Zell Knight to get his Super Brave Burst back
5
up.
Zell Knights and a Sheeta, the dream is real.
All right, guys.
Then it might work, but then you just get hit by a fire attack, and then your Zell Knights are dead.
I still need 3 Sheetas, or 3 Zell Knights and a Sheeta to do that.
and I remember that insane Vargas for Hunter. Oh my god, hated that Vargas.
When it was Douglas Frontier, the fire unit is very hated because your entire team dies.
Well, it's finally here. We're here to the Christmas units.
Yay! I wonder. A lot of people. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this is a cash grab," and they're pretty upset. But what if these units were as strong as the Trident set? Would they be upset too because these units are breaking the game?
I think if they introduced more units that broke the game, then the game would be already broken. So I don't think people would mind too much.
I think if we had more units that were Ultor and Tridon level in strength instead of these guys, I think I'd still be a little upset because what Gumi is doing is they're literally grabbing the Christmas money out of my stocking before I've even opened it.
Well said. Wow. It's Nick. And Nick is here. This batch required us to summon 10 times for a guaranteed unit, or you could go with RNG and try to summon one of these units. So, what were your experiences, Lance?
Oh my god, it's because I told you, huh? I told you. Okay. My friend, his name is Yang. I believe he's in this chat, so I want to give a shout out to Yang. He's my roommate, but he just started playing Brave Frontier last week. I gave him that. Yeah, I gave him like a head start, and then I taught him how to play, and now he's addicted to the game. I think this is a bad thing I've done. I think it's a really bad thing I've done, but I just want to give a shout out to say he's right here. I just want to give a shout out to Yang, and I believe this was our first really big summon. So normally when we summon, it's like 25 gems, 50 gems, but this set was a set that we spent like a lot of gems, and just because he was here, I had a lot of gems, so I said, go for it, keep summoning, and let's see if I can get all of them. And I spent 200 gems, and I did not get all of them. But what I did get was I got 6 Nick, so I formed a team of 5
Oh, I
Nicks.
actually did not hear about this. Wow.
Yeah, it was. We streamed it. Yeah, we streamed it. That's why I spent so much too,
Oh my
because
goodness. Okay.
that was my first stream in like a week. So I was like, you know what, go for it. Keep summoning, and let the viewers watch the horrible, like train wreck.
6 nicks.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I got 6 Nick, and so let me just tell you about him right now. The thing is, he looks good on paper. Like he gives the Battle Crystal a drop, Heart Crystal drop. Um, you think like, oh, okay, so this guy is like Zone Knight, So this guy is Zone Knight, so I guess he's good. That's what I thought when before I saw the raw stats. I saw the 6-star form of the skills with SBB on Reddit, and then I look at the skill and says, oh, okay, gives boost to BC, item drop rate, you know, and fire, thunder, light attack. Okay, this is kind of like a Zone Knight, so I guess he's good. But if you actually pull in the raw data, the 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 battle crystal drop rate percent is 5%, and the item drop rate percent is 2% item drop rate buff, which is almost basically nothing.
Maybe
So
it'll get better at 6-star.
that's what I'm hoping for, or else this 200 gems will be wasted. Fingers crossed that yeah, that people notice and start complaining, and it would actually give him some much needed buff, because 2% item drop rate buff. I mean, like, it's like they just put it in there so that they can put it on the leader skill that says it does this, but I think it's only 2%, which is almost nothing. So yeah, but yeah, 200 gems later, 6 Fierce Nick. I'm crossing my fingers that he actually gets buffed at 6-star. But for now, not completely useless. Like still better than Skeleton King, I guess. Maybe not, but 20 hits, and no, not 20 hits, but 12 hits AOE. So I guess not completely useless. So I'll give him right now a 2-star, and I wanted anima typing just because it seems like these units are anima typing for me is really safe, because what I've noticed is that if you don't get anima typing, then that means you have to get 2 typing for a certain situation. So for example, breakers, I just throw like an Aegis Cloak on my breakers in the arena, and they survive and have extra attack. So you have to get a breaker for arena, and then if you want to go to do questing or boss fighting, you would need anima or guardian. So what happens if, for me, if I just get anima, I can just use the anima unit for arena and for questing, and I don't have to worry about leveling 2 units. So this is why, the main reason why I like anima so much. And so yeah, on all those summons, I didn't even get an anima. So I guess I'm gonna level up my breaker Nick, but anima would be my favorite typing. So yeah, so that's my story.
All right. Well, I guess Santa came to town for you. Nova?
The fake Santa Claus or
Fake Santa.
reindeer. Because okay, so the funny thing about the actual Santa Claus was, I believe the European version got an actual Santa unit, and it's probably the most ridiculous unit I've ever seen. The amount of artwork spent into Brave Frontierifying it was like -5, and it just looks like a sticker. But anyway, Nick, first glance, 5-star units, we don't really take into account, their stats or their BB skill, meter skill too much. Because if they're getting 6-star, that means you'll probably use them at their 6-star form. So at the 5-star form, what I see is the BC item generation. Granted, item generation is sorely lacking across the board other than Zelnite, but at least you have another unit that can kind of give you more items. And then you look at the BB skill, which is Rainbow esque. It gives like 3 elements to the BB, so going forward with that being more elements, or possibly a 3-element buff to your team, who knows. But basically, as it stands right now, Nick is just kind of average with his BB skill, and then kind of under average across the board. So I guess that's enough to earn him a 3 from me. And right now, I don't really care about Nick's typing on a 5-star form. If there's anything that the game has taught me ever since the World Tour 5 to 6-star form, I'd have to really see their 6-star form to give them a really good typing. So just to be safe, I'm gonna give a Lord typing for Nick.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, how many stars?
3.
3. Okay. And Storm, what's your take on Nick?
Santa Claus has checked his list. He checked it twice. He's determined who's been naughty or nice. I don't know if you guys have checked out this unit artwork, but it looks like Santa Claus has slain his reindeers, used their blood to power his blades, and applied their antlers to his helmet. This guy is a really, really intimidating guy. The thought of this guy coming down my chimney at night kind of makes me not want to go to sleep ever again. That being said, as scary as, the backstory and whatnot is behind him, kind of lackluster. His stats are pretty terrible. But I mean, it is a 5-star. He does have better stats than Hydroloid, kinda. So as far as typing goes, I'm gonna go with Breaker because I'll take 150 away from the defense and put it into attack, and I'm cool with that. Now, his leadership skill is called Season's Giftings. It's a 20% boost to BC and a 4% item drop rate boost, which 4% is so terrible you might as well not even have it. The BC drop rate boost, I mean, don't use this guy's leadership skill right now. There are a lot better. But I mean, at 6-star, he might have something. Now, the most interesting part about this unit, I think, is the fact that his attack is Fire, Thunder, and Light. Now, we've seen something like this with before. We've seen Melchio. Melchio had all of the elements except for Dark. He did a 5-element hit. All of them were doing the extra damage no matter who he fought against. And so that was pretty cool. So it's kind of cool to see that they're bringing back that particular mechanic. There weren't really enough units who were doing it. And so instead of doing status changers, we're getting people with multi-elemental attacks. He also has an increase to item drop rate and boost to BC, which is the same as his leadership skill. And so they will stack together. But again, it's such a small amount. It's 5% and 2%, I think. So which means his total BC drop rate is 25 and his item drop rate is 6. So yeah, that's pretty good. Not really. So really intimidating looking units, but I'm going to have to go with 3 stars on him. I'm optimistic and hopeful for what's going to come. For his 6-star form, but I mean, it could be like Sierra and Samira. It might be like 6 months from now.
Mm-hmm. All right, and Lance,
We're having a battle between 1-star and 2-star, but it looks like 1-star is winning. So
oh no,
yeah, 1-star is winning. So Nick deserves 1-star.
a
Yeah, some people.
1-star for the Christmas unit.
Yeah.
He is the fake Santa Claus, so
He needs
everybody
big
hates him.
Wow.
He slayed his reindeer and used the blood to powder his outfits.
Okay,
And
I
there's
didn't notice
fire.
that, so now that I have that image in my head, good thing we're done with Christmas.
Oh,
All right.
It's like the Michael Bay of Santas. There's explosions and fire. Yeah.
Now, I don't recall our viewers giving a 1 to any of our previous units. Am I mistaken, or?
they've probably given a 1-star before, but it was like really trolly.
Yeah, yeah.
Or back in the day when everybody was just voting 5 stars because 5-star.
Did we have a 1-star for Maxwell?
We did. I think it was Elsa that got like a 1-star.
Oh yeah, it was something strange.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Okay. So you guys aren't going to be using Nick in your squads. We got it. But okay, we're going to move on to Jack. Storm. Are the viewers going to be using Jack in their squads?
Well,